Everyone, good evening. Welcome to the Town Board meeting held for October 6th, 2022. I'll ask everybody to stand for a pledge and a moment of silence for reflection. All right, so tonight we're going to start with something a little different, a little special. We have a member of our community who has just been nonstop with his efforts for us in every way, shape, and form, whether it be as an elected official, as a volunteer, just as a true representative of what a Woodbury resident is all about. He's been here for so many years. It's Mr. Neil Krause. What he's been doing lately for the Jewish Family Services Program, for the people in the community that need him, to need assistance. Neil is there. His efforts and his time that he puts in, it just wouldn't be done without him. The town would like to recognize him tonight. I'd like to ask if anybody here on the board would like to also add something before we give him his presentation. Tyler, would you like to start?
Yeah, I've known Neil for a long time, from way back in the community association, and Neil has always volunteered and done a lot for the town, and the job he was doing for the community's Jewish community, family community service, where he arranged for people to take people that needed rides to doctors and what have you that couldn't drive, was really a great service, and we greatly appreciate it, and we're going to be sorry that you can't do it anymore, but I know you did it for a long time. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Neil, why don't you come up to the podium and talk about so they can see who
Neil,
you are.
come on up.
Come on up so we can see who you are. Not everybody here might not know you.
Anyone else over here?
Yeah, I'd like to say something to the podium.
Yeah.
So I also would like to thank Neil for all of his sacrifices that he's done for the community. You know, I've met him a few years ago and his wife, Robin, and they are extreme wealth of knowledge here in Woodbury. I've seen him give so much to so many people, whether it's cooking burgers for the Men's Association or, you know, helping out other people by picking them up, taking them to the doctor, even in snow and things like that. So you will be missed, and, you know, we all appreciate everything that you do, and, you know, I'm happy that I know you on a personal level on top of it. So, you know, I just want to thank you. It's a big loss, you know, that you won't be doing it anymore, but you have given so much to us, so thank you.
Yes, thank you, Neil. It's amazing to see such beautiful people in this community that give back so much, and it's an amazing thing. Thank you.
I just want to say a few words.
We'll be right. You'll get your chance. Don't worry.
Okay.
Desiree?
I don't get to say them now?
Desiree, will let us say what we want to say to you first, and we're going to come over, and then you're going to speak as long as you want.
Neil, I've known you for quite some time, and I've never heard you say just a few words. But you are, I've worked with you on numerous things, Village Board, Historical Society, and you really are a great asset to this community. And I'm sure, even though we're all saying goodbye to you in this position, but I'm sure you're going to carry on in other positions in the community. You're very involved with WCA and whatnot. And I'm sure you're still probably going to be involved with this somehow. So thank you.
For you, it says, from the town of Woodbury, an extraordinary volunteer, Neil Krause, in appreciation and recognition of an exemplary dedication to the Woodbury senior community and the Friendly Visitor Program, coordinator for the past 8 years. We sincerely thank you for all you have given from your heart. We wish you the best always. Woodbury Town Board.
Now Now it's all me. Well, several people, you've mentioned me, and you mentioned Jewish Family Services. I want to remind everybody in Woodbury, this program is sponsored by the Woodbury Town Board. So it's your elected officials and this town board and previous town boards who started the program in cooperation with Jewish Family Services. So a lot of the credit should go to the town board, current and past town boards. I want to thank my wife, Robin, who lets me go out and do the volunteer work. I want to particularly thank all of our volunteers. In the 8.5 years, we only had one case where we couldn't fulfill a request to take someone to their doctor, to take somebody to their dentist, to take them shopping or something. And that was one individual who called at 10 in the morning and had an appointment at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And everyone should remember, everyone who takes people is a volunteer. They're volunteering their time, well, their spouse's time too, because that's time away from their own families. They're using their own vehicle, their own gas and everything, and they don't ask for anything. They don't even ask for recognition. They just go and do it. So those are the individuals who really should be up here with me. Where are they? But they're the ones who really do all the work. I thank you for this. And I'm still volunteering. I'm still taking people. All right, thank you.
Well, Neil, we know that. That's why we didn't put a date on it. We just wanted to recognize you. But there's no date on that.
Oh, it's
You're still active. Yes.
Oh, okay, that's good. Thanks, Tom. Okay, thanks, everybody.
Okay. All right. Neil, there's the boxes there with that you can put it. Yeah, so we can travel with that. Nothing happens. Next, I want to have our Eagle Scout candidate, Matthew Gorlin. He's going to provide us with an update. Matthew has been erecting mile markers at the reservoir, the path around the reservoir. And to everybody that goes up there, including myself, I've watched him do this project, and I'll tell you what, it's very impressive, and it's great that it's up there now. We have those markers, and it was really fantastic. Really a job well done. So Eagle Scout candidate, Mr. Matthew Gorlin, come on up.
So I have a packet for each of you, which is part of the Eagle Scout workbook. And I also have a slideshow presentation, just because it's a lot of color pages I would have had to print.
Okay, if you want to just give us the packet real quick, and then
Yeah.
we can follow along.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Wow.
Okay. Is there a way you could hold it up and maybe as you're speaking, is there any that maybe
Yeah, I can.
the audience can see too?
Yeah. Or I can show it twice.
Okay.
Can everybody see?
You just turn a little bit that way, we can see it. There you go, hopefully.
Okay. So this slideshow really documents each of the. Here.
Thanks.
It documents each of the mile markers that I constructed, and also some of the process before that of us constructing it. So this first image, here, let me turn up the brightness. This first image is of me and my father in August morning at Home Depot, where we bought most of the materials for the project. Not pictured here. I didn't have the foresight to grab a picture, but I ordered the signs through Printing Plus on Route 32 in Woodbury, and they were a great help, Frank there. So I just wanted to shout them out. So here's me and my dad again, and a Woodbury resident, Mr. Sean Buckley, who provided a bunch of power tools for us to be able to cut the wood down to size. Since at Home Depot they weren't able to cut it, we ordered 12-foot long wooden posts. So we had to cut it in half and then at an angle to mount the signs on. So this is the image of the trailhead of the path, which is located at the main parking lot, and it goes counterclockwise around the trail, ending by the bridge. So you have the 0.1 mile, 0.2, 0.3. 0.4 shows sort of like the process that we went through to mount the signs onto the posts. 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.75, and finally 0.85. And the full trail loop is 0.95 mile. So, yeah.
So that doesn't, so that your loop is just around the reservoir. That doesn't include going up towards the rec center and around down by the courts.
No.
It's just- so that's
yeah.
why it's 0.95. Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, this down. Don't want it to fall. So the piece of paperwork that I handed each of you sort of documents my personal growth through the project, and also the finances and the results of the project.
Well, I tell you, Matthew, it really is impressive. It's really a great addition to the reservoir up there. The walking, everybody enjoys the walk and the jog around there, and to have those markers and the job, the way it was done by you, and outstanding, really.
Thank you.
I agree, and I have to say, I just absolutely, these are like my favorite things about the meetings, is when we see, Eagle Scouts come in and give us their ideas for their projects, and then come back with how they're working on their projects. And, I mean, volunteerism is huge, and to be such a young person and to do things like that for your community, it gives you a sense of who you're going to be when you get older. So, I appreciate what you're doing for us and for the community and making it better in that way. I wish a lot more young people would open their minds and think of things to make it better for us around here. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Do any of you have any questions about the project or the paperwork?
No? Not at all? Very well done.
So the one thing that I do need is Supervisor Burke's signature
Yep.
at the beneficiary field.
Yep.
Yeah.
I might have to take a look at that.
You got enough money left over in your budget to pay for the attorney to review that?
There's $10. Oh, it's over $10 now. You got a lot, Joe.
Attorney, I thought it was Kenny Rogers.
Okay. There you go. Congratulations.
You gotta stand up into it. There you go.
Okay. I know it's getting late, Matthew, so if you want to take your mom home, feel free. Okay. Good night. Good night. Hey, I'm sorry, Matthew, just so you know, if you get a chance sometime this week, if you could bring it down to the supervisor's office, because the ladies there will take whatever you have there. We'd like to put it in a newsletter and maybe even put it on through the parks on their website. And this way, all that can be put out there for everyone to see.
Would you rather that be done
No, why don't you bring it down now so we can put it out that the work is there, it's done, everybody can enjoy it now, so let's not wait, let's do it.
Yeah, I'll head over an afternoon next week after spring.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, now we're going to move on to public hearing, introductory local law 2 of 2022, the tax cap override. Desiree, could you please read?
A public hearing is being held to entertain public comments on introductory local law 2 of 2022, which will override the tax levy limit established in General Municipal Law, Section 3C, for the town's 2023 budget. The public notice was printed in the Times Herald Record on September 27th, 2022.
Okay, does anybody have any comments? All right, I need a motion and a second to close the public.
See if the public has anybody.
Oh, I'm sorry, the public would like to come up and speak to this? Anyone from the public? Okay, thank you. Can I have I need a motion and a...
This is on this local law.
Hold on this local
Yep.
law. Yeah. All right, I need a motion and a
You
second.
can speak if it's on the local law. No, not yet.
Second.
All right. We got a motion from Tyler, second.
Second.
Second from, all right. Any other discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. Can I have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution presented by Attorney McKay to adopt local law 2? Desiree, can you do a roll call?
You need a motion and a second first.
I need a motion? I'm sorry. I need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, Tim seconds. Okay,
Okay. Councilman Finnegan? Is that a yes?
that's a yes.
Yes.
Councilman Luciani?
Yes.
Councilman Etzel?
Yes.
Supervisor Burke?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, motion passed. The next item is the 2023 Special District Assessment Rolls. Do I need to?
You want me to read it?
Yeah, please read.
Okay. A public hearing is being held to entertain public comments on the adoption of the 2023 Special District Assessment Rolls. The purpose of the public hearing is to provide the public with the opportunity to correct the number of units they are being charged in a specific special district if they are proven to be incorrect. The public notice was printed in the Times Herald Record on September 27th, 2022. There are 3 hearings.
Okay.
We're going to do one at a time, and I think the supervisor's going to do,
Yeah. The first one is the Consolidated Sewer District. Does anyone have any comments to make about the Consolidated Sewer District? All right, hearing none. Okay, I need a motion and a second to close the public hearing.
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carried. The Refuse District. Does anyone have any comments to make about the Refuse District? Okay, hearing none. Can I have a motion and a second to close this public hearing?
Make a motion.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that carried. And the Highland Lake Estates Sewer District. Does anyone have any comments to make about the Highland Lake Estates Sewer District? Nope, okay. Then I need a motion and a second to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. And I need a motion and a second to adopt the assessment rolls for the following special district: Consolidated Sewer District, Refuse District, and Highland Lake Estates Sewer District.
Make that motion.
No, Desiree's going to do a...
You got to make a motion.
Oh, I make a
for
motion? I'm
Yep.
sorry, you were right, Tyler. Sorry. I'll make a motion.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Second, okay.
Councilman Finnegan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Luciani?
Aye.
Councilman Etzel?
Aye.
Supervisor Burke?
Yes, aye. That passed. Okay, very good. All right, moving on. Does anyone in the public have comment on any agenda items tonight?
I just wanted to follow up with an email I had with Desiree. There's comments in the minutes from September 15th that aren't mine, but they're attributed to me.
Those were corrected, and they were corrected online this morning, like I said they would when I emailed you back and wrote, okay.
All I got was thank you.
Huh? Yeah, they were corrected online this morning.
Oh, you told me that minutes could not be corrected. prior, we've been through this before. You said minutes had to be spoken at a public meeting and changed. They don't
Okay.
ever get changed.
They were taken care of.
Okay. So I don't have an email. All I have from you says thank you. So
They were
perhaps
taken
you can
care of.
resend it. Thank you so much.
Anyone else? Okay.
did receive the minutes.
Yes, thank you.
Just a question on the agenda tonight. You have budget modifications. On the website, there was only one. Were there any additional ones submitted to the board? Or is it just the one budget modification?
Just the one.
Okay. Then my next question will be, with your abstract, how are you going to be paying a attorney bill from the library line when they're still, didn't ask for the money to be transferred yet? I'm just going to put it out there. Thank you.
Okay. Maria, just so you're asking about the,
There's an attorney
right.
bill in the abstract tonight for $1,032. And I know for a fact that that budget line with the library is short or it's overdrawn by $5,000. Bills have been paid. And I know the library board did have a meeting last week, and the library director was supposed to submit the budget modifications request because it was approved by the library board of directors. But since you don't have that budget modification, I would hope that that bill is not going to be paid and sent out until the budget modification is submitted by next meeting. Thank you.
Well, that's what I wanted to say to you, that I followed up with that also. And yes, the library board did approve the budget mods, but it was not submitted to the town, to the supervisor's office as of today. Right,
Yeah, from the library director, because she's supposed to do that, correct?
correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. Approval of abstract, next. Oh, go ahead.
You got to approve the minutes, right?
Yep.
Do we have the, oh, I'm sorry, can I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes for September
15.
15th.
Yep.
Second.
Okay, motion carried.
Yeah, motion and a second.
Motion and a second. It was Tyler and Tim. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. The next is the approval of the abstract.
Abstract
Desiree?
18 contains vouchers 221624 through 221733 and totals $129,811.07.
Okay. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the abstract as read?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, budget modification. Desiree, please read the budget modification prepared for this evening.
There are three. They're all for the police. The first is increasing B 3120.458 psych medical evaluation by $525.52 and decreasing B 3120.474 medical supplies by $525.52. Second is for increasing B 3120.485 truck scales by $50 and decreasing B 3120.453 vehicle repairs by $50. And the last is increasing A 1910.400 unallocated insurance by $11,223 and increasing B 9040.800 workers' compensation by $11,223.
Okay, thank you. And since we require evaluations for both part and full-time officers as part of the hiring process, the line item for this needs to be increased. The increase to truck sales is due to the cost of calibration exceeding what was budgeted. The increase for insurance is due to the cost exceeding what was budgeted. All these modifications are a reallocation of appropriations and not an increase in spending. So can I have a motion and a second to approve the following modifications as read and explained, please?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, carried, okay. I have an extra item tonight. That is employment status for Miss Sarah Parker. Can I have a motion and a second to expand the working hours of Sarah Parker in the Animal Control Department from part-time to full-time effective November 7th, 2022?
I'll make a motion.
Good.
Second.
Any discussion? No? Okay. I just wanted to say that we, as a board, we met with Miss Sarah Parker today. She came down to speak with all of us, and she's been a member of the Animal Control department now for a while, and she does an excellent job. And we have a pending retirement this coming December. And as it states right now, we as a board feel that she'd be a great addition, continuing in the full-time status. So I'm very happy to announce that. And as a board, I think we all are. Anybody else want to say something?
No, Tom and I we all met her, and she looks like she's an excellent candidate. She's done really well while she's been here, so we're happy to move her to full-time status.
All right. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion carried. Okay, and then we're going to move on to old business, receipt of bids, refuse collection. Desiree, please read the bid results.
The bid opening was held on September 12th, 2022, for proposals for the collection of refuse and garbage for 23 and 24. The public notice was printed in the Times Herald Record on August 14th, 2022. We received one bid, which is from our current hauler of county waste in Clifton Park, New York. For 2023, their bid is $1,019,700. And for 2024, it is the same amount, $1,019,700.
Okay. Can I have a motion and a second?
I'll make a motion to accept the bid.
Okay.
Second.
That's all right. Any discussion? I'd just like to say that this bid from County Waste, they have been working for us for a number of years. The last 4 years I know of, they've had a contract with us with no increase. And now they've come back with this. They have given us an increase, but due to the exceeding costs that are incurred now, as we all know, and the fact that it had been 4 years, they actually brought this bid to us for 2 years, this 2023, 2024, with an option to expand to additional years after that. So this will be a contract that is extended with the same services. There will be no changes to the services as it stands right now, and that was important to be maintained, because to our residents, I think that is paramount. And I think the board agrees with me also when we discussed it, that we can't stop the services the way we receive it, and so I'm glad that we were able to move forward. Any other discussion? Tyler? No? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Change order 28 and 29, the J.P. Burke Memorial Pool. I need a motion, a second, to authorize myself to sign change order 28 for the Memorial Pool project totaling $20,000 for numerous additional work items requested at the end of the project.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Next, I need a motion, a second, to authorize myself to sign a change order 29 for the John P. Burke Memorial Pool Project on an increase of $8,292.50 for a credit for plumbing work not done at the showers and hose bibs. Those are the two outdoor showers. They needed to be completed.
But that was money we got back?
Yes. Okay. All in favor? I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, motion carried. All right. Renewal of IT block PC Surgeon. Can I have a motion, a second, to authorize myself to sign an IT block renewal for PC Surgeon consisting of 50 hours at a cost of $5,250? I'll second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Moving on to new business. Acknowledge receipt of the fiscal year 2023 tentative budget. Desiree?
No, I just keep turning it off because I hear feedback. I don't know if it's because, are you hearing feedback from the micro? No, it's just me. Okay. I have a head cold, so. Pursuant to Town Law, Section 106.3, a copy of the fiscal year 2023 tentative budget was received by my office on September 23rd, 2022, and it was distributed to the board members via email on September 28th, 2022, prior to the October 5th required date.
Okay. Thank you. Next is Justice Court Assistance Program Submittal Approval. I need a motion and a second to authorize the Town of Woodbury Justice Court to apply for a JCAP grant in the 2022-23 grant cycle up to $30,000.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Good. Any discussion? All in favor?
What's it for?
That's what just to give them approval. Yeah. Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. An approval of proposal for additional courthouse renovations. Can I have a motion and a second to authorize the supervisor to sign the proposal for Gordian Upstate Companies totaling $75,559.38 to remove the existing egress stairs door and install new stairs door, including all restoration. That's the fire escape, to complete that, and the entrance.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, I think we can move out to public comment. We could start with the first row. Yeah. I'm just going to ask that when you step up to the podium, anybody who chooses to step up to please state your name. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good evening, everyone. My name is Carmen Torres. I am a resident of the Highland Lakes Estates community. So before I begin with the reason why I'm here, I just want to share a little bit about myself. I am a resident of Highland Lake Estates in Highland Mills for over 27 years. My profession is as a social worker for over 30 years. I am a wife of a retired NYPD detective and a mother to a son who is currently on the NYPD force and also in the military branch. And I have various family members who are in law enforcement. So what brings me up here today is our current concern is that we're seeking support for the community from the authorities of the Village Board and the Town Board of Woodbury. Newsflash, are you aware that the current Woodbury Police Department is not servicing the members of the Highland Lakes Estates community? When the police department is called, they're refusing to come in to service, and they'll state that the New York State Police Department will then come in to service our community. Now, the issue with that is that it's a longer response time, and this is something that's been ongoing for the past 2.5 years. We have 168 homes in our community that are not being serviced. You know, we ask ourselves why? Why is this happening? We are a culturally and religiously diversified community. Why are we receiving this treatment? We, as far as I know, that we are all taxpayers, and it is also my understanding that as a police department and as a police officer, it's illegal to pick and choose who you serve, let alone an entire department. All police officers have taken a sworn oath to protect and serve the entire communities that they serve. And, you know, as a member of this community, I'm one, and also part of my profession is to research and try to find answers as to why is this happening. So what I did was I went on to the police, Woodbury Police website, and there it states, the Town of Woodbury Police Department endeavors to serve the community with pride, professionalism, and progress on all law enforcement matters. And it continues to describe the staff that they have. In addition, it states, all members of the department are dedicated to the principles of community policing to preserve and protect our quality of life 24 hours a day. When this is happening, surely not in Highland Lake Estates, I don't understand why our community is being singled out. Nowhere else in this country that I'm aware of, in the United States of America, that a police department can pick and choose who will receive services from the local police department. So let's break it down. When you hear community policing, what does that exactly mean? Well, you know, it's like part of it is developing community partnerships, which is key, wouldn't you say, if you're serving a community? But we really don't see that happening. And also engaging in problem solving. Some common methods of community policing include encouraging the community to help prevent crime by providing advice. Interesting, because we don't even have an opportunity to speak to anyone in the local department, for they don't appear. What are the benefits of community policing? Is implementing different strategies to reduce citizen fear of crime, improve citizens' views of crime, disorder problems in their neighborhoods, right? And also to improve the citizens' evaluations of the police. In the statement, it says to preserve and protect our quality of life 24 hours a day. Police departments do not write laws. They are tasked with the responsibility of enforcing laws that are enacted by elected officials in the legislature and that are interpreted by courts. Enforcing laws is just one of the many different roles of the police. Other important rules include working with communities to prevent crimes and solve various quality of life problems, maintaining order, and conducting investigations. In my continuous research, along appeared a mission statement, which was excerpted from the Woodbury Police Department's annual report from 2020 and also February 22nd, 2021. They're located on the website. And the mission statement states the following. The principal mission of the Town of Woodbury Police Department is to enforce all laws and ordinances in a fair and impartial manner by preserving the constitutional rights of all persons to live in peace, by reducing fear in the community through the prevention of crime, protection against criminal attack, loss of damage to property, and by preserving order in public spaces. It is essential that all members of the department remember that in the execution of their duties, that they act not for themselves, but for the good of the community. They will respect and protect the rights of individuals and perform all police services with honesty, zeal, courage, discretion, fidelity, and sound judgment without prejudice. The department will at all times work in cooperation with other law enforcement agencies, community agencies, groups, or departments to promote confidence, understanding, trust, and competence from the public to achieve our police objectives. That is the mission statement for our local police department. So, my understanding is that there are 4 commissioners that make up decisions for the local police department. Am I correct? Is that the case? Or is it the police chief that's in charge? I ask, as a representative of Highland Lakes Estates, a community member, what are each and every one of the town board members, Mr. Finnegan, Ms. Luciani, Mr. Edsel, and Mr. Burke, what are you going to do for the Highland Lake Estates community in supporting us with this great concern?
Well, first and most, I want to just start off by saying thank you very much for your comments. That was well said. I think you hit a lot of points. I want to say to you that since I've been elected as the town supervisor, it's my, I can tell you as a resident of Woodbury since 1967 that I feel that the Woodbury Police Department as a whole is the best of the best, second to none. I haven't received any personal calls from any Highland Lake Estate residents, except for tonight, now that you're here to express this to us, that your comments, and I thank you for your comments. And this is something that as a commission that we will take into, and that we will take all this information and we will discuss it and move accordingly. Absolutely.
I hope so, because one thing that's very important to remember, everyone sitting there votes, right? We all vote, and if there's a community that's being singled out, this is what we've been feeling as a whole, and we have brought this to the attention of various authorities in the village, have reached out, people in politics. What has been done? You know, they come around, hello, my name is so-and-so, I am running for this position. Oh, what are your concerns? It's falling on deaf ears. And you know, I know about policing, right? I have members married to. I'm a social worker. I'm well-versed as to what's happening in society. And it's a shame that we live in a community that we're not being provided the service. And we really do need some support. It needs to be addressed. And I'm not saying, I understand police officers have to do a job, right? And they have to follow orders from up above. So what's happening? Why is this happening? That's what we want answers to, and we want it to stop.
Well, you want answers. You deserve it. You're a taxpayer in Woodbury, just like everyone. We all are. We have our attorney, Joe McKay, here, who has maybe a little bit more of a history than I do. Like I said, this has been going on. This is an issue that's been just started, or how long?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is something that we could have our attorney, Mr. Joe McKay, speak to.
Right?
Correct.
Hi. So I'm just curious. Are you here this evening representing you and your family, or you're representing the Highland Lakes Homeowners Association? Who are you actually
I
representing?
live in Highland Lakes Estates, and I'm representing everyone in that community because people do come, talk, neighbors. So I'm here as part of their voice, and I'm sure you'll be hearing from other people as well.
Okay, and the reason that I asked that is because what the supervisor said earlier is the town board hasn't received any complaints.
Well,
All
here it
right,
is.
so, I mean, I think the board has to, take your comments under advisement, consider it, and make a determination as to how the board wants to proceed in the future.
I just want to say I appreciate you coming up and talking to us tonight and, bringing it to light for everybody to hear. It is something that we as a board will be talking about and making sure that it gets handled the right way and that there is a solution. So I just want you to know that, I appreciate you coming up here. I know it's hard to go up in front of everybody and say that.
No.
You did
that's
it,
what the character
So I want to thank you.
is. Okay, thank you.
So.
Thank you. Any next? Sure. Just please state your name.
My name is Beverly Silvera, and I'm speaking as...
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Beverly Silvera.
Thank you so much.
And I'm speaking as a private citizen, a member, a resident of Highland Lake Estate. I'm also on the board of directors. Tonight, because of a litigation, I will speak as a resident. I'm also a member, an EMT with Woodbury Community Ambulance, and every call that we get, that I go out on, PD's there. So when I hear that PD doesn't service my community, I have to wonder what's going on. We all pay taxes. We pay a tax for police protection or service. Why isn't that not done for the residents of Highland Lakes pay their taxes? Why don't they get that service? Why is it relegated to the state troopers? And if it does, equal time, fine. But the problem with that is it can take up to 45 minutes for a state trooper to get to the community if there's an issue. Whereas with PD, it's only 5 minutes, providing that bridge is working, which seems to be nobody's problem right now. So in the spring, I spoke with Mr. Burke. I called your office about this situation, and I was told to talk to the attorneys. You said you had just gotten in office and this occurred before your time, and I should speak with the attorney. I conveyed that to the association's attorney. The association's attorney made several calls to the attorney handling the litigation, which that's one and the same, and no response. Our community is at risk. Our children are at risk. One, their homes being used as bed and breakfasts. We don't know who's coming, who's going, who's next door. Children are playing outside. Anything can happen. Kids are being kidnapped. You hear about it on the radio. We're just trying to not just get the service that we're paying for or that we should get, because now it's becoming a civil issue, a human rights issue. It's just keeping the community safe. If whoever's in control at the police department, at the town level, or whichever level this should be corrected, is not doing so, I am appealing to this board to do something before things get really out of hand.
Okay, so just so we can be clear, and I can be clear too, we had a conversation when I first took office in January, early January, when I first started, correct?
You're right.
And you had explained to me that there was a legal matter with Highland Lake Estates and the police department, and I referred you to the attorney, your attorney, to reach out to
To the
him.
attorney handling the case.
To your
For
attorney.
the PD.
No, for your attorney.
To my, right.
Right.
Which
Now,
I
what-
did.
That's not for me to tell an attorney what to do. I just told you to reach out to you.
No, I'm just saying that someone mentioned that they'd never heard of this. So I'm just stating that, yes, this was brought up in the brief conversation you and I had when you referred me to the attorney.
Okay.
So it's.
That's why I'm asking to clarify, because that is something that that I did not recall, but I'm not going to disagree with you, because I didn't recall that conversation with you, but I'm trying to ask, what I'm asking you is, remind me exactly what it is, what I said to you, and I told you to refer to your attorney.
Right.
Okay, and I am not saying that, what I'm saying, and I want you to know, is that I didn't recall it, but I agree that what was said. But from that conversation, you and I have not had any further conversations.
We have not, because it's.
We have not.
It's in the attorney's hands, which the attorneys can't talk, or one isn't talking to the other because, for whatever reason. Either he's told not to, or if the association's attorney made at least six calls with no response. Six
Okay.
calls.
Joe, can you elaborate on that?
Well, I have a lot of questions. I don't know if I have a comment so much. My understanding is that the request was for the town to drop the lawsuit that Highland Lake Estates had filed against the town. Is that what you communicated to your attorney? Because your
I
attorney
did not speak.
came to a court conference about 3 weeks ago, said absolutely nothing about dropping the lawsuit. In fact, said that your organization is going to continue suing the town. And right now, in the last few days, there have been communications with your attorney about scheduling depositions in that case. So when you say that my firm hasn't responded, and I know that we have responded within the last week, and there have been prior depositions and prior court appearances, I would just suggest that you speak to your attorney to try to reconcile that, because that just doesn't seem accurate to me.
So I have a question.
Sure.
Does the lawsuit predicate on the services? Because there's a lawsuit, does that mean the community should not be serviced?
The Highland Lake, yeah, I can explain if you just want to give me a second. Your community has sued the town police alleging, do you want to listen to my comment? You asked me a question, I'd
Yeah.
like to answer.
I'm listening.
There were 4 notices of claim filed against the town alleging that our police department had acted to violate the constitutional rights of numerous members of your association. 4. 3 of those were filed and never went forward. Your association is also suing the town right now, claiming pervasive constitutional violations by the police department and asking for an outside party, a monitor, to be appointed to oversee and manage the town police department. So the town has a quandary. Your lawsuit essentially says, we don't trust the police to come into our community. That's why we have to keep suing the town police department. But yet you come here tonight and say, please provide services.
All right.
Those 2 things, ma'am, respectfully, are irreconcilable. You want the town police department to provide services, or you want an outside agency appointed to supervise them because you don't trust the way that they're providing the services. Highland Lake Estates needs to choose.
Okay.
You can't have both.
What comes first? We're talking about the chicken or the egg?
No, what comes first is you sued the town.
Yeah, but what about the service to the rest of the community? The town was served because the service was not provided.
No,
Yes.
no, you sued the town alleging numerous constitutional violations because your claim asserts that there's a certain group at Highland Lake Estates within the development that's treated differently than others. It's not a suspect class. It doesn't define. It just says people who are associated with the plaintiffs, one of whom I think is Ms. Torres' husband. Is that correct? I don't want to misspeak. Is your husband's plaintiff in one of the lawsuits, Ms. Torres? You don't know. You don't know if your husband's suing the town? Okay. Can I just ask what his first name is?
Okay, Justice Thomas doesn't know what his
No,
wife is
wait,
talking
no,
about, so...
wait a minute. No, I'm answering your question, and
I
I'm trying to
understand.
explain the quandary that the town board is in. They're being sued to have an outside party monitor, oversee, and supervise the police department because your HOA says the town police department cannot be trusted to provide service in that community, and yet you come here and chastise the town board for having the state police respond. So if your attorney would like to contact me, he can. And I will have this discussion with your attorney. So do you want to withdraw the lawsuit? Do you now trust the town police department? You want the town police department to provide service or not? Have your attorney let us know.
I stand here tonight, right? The police department failed in some action, in some service, in providing some service, which started that lawsuit, right?
There were 3
So-
notices of claim and a lawsuit.
So the board, which that has the lawsuit with the town, the board of directors, homeowners association, has a lawsuit.
And several individual members of the board and others.
The board. They were the board.
I can show it to you.
Okay? Yes, they were the board. That does not prevent, it should not prevent the community at large from receiving service. Right? There's a lawsuit, and there's a service to the community. Because there's a lawsuit, it should not prevent the basic service to that community.
I understand your point.
Right? And if that's the case, then why
Well, let me ask this. Does HLE want to withdraw the lawsuit? Yes? No?
Well, I believe it's what the attorney was trying to contact whoever.
No, ma'am, I'm explaining to you that's absolutely not correct. Your attorney was in court 3 weeks ago
All right, so
going forward with your lawsuit.
we will go back and have a talk with our attorney.
That would be a great idea. I would not only professionally appreciate that, I would personally appreciate that.
Okay, well, this is the most we have, response we've gotten from the community, from supervisor's office, from anyone. And
Well, ma'am, you have
we've
to
been
understand,
trying.
and I just want, I don't mean to interrupt you. You let me speak, and I'm trying to let you speak. I don't mean to interrupt you. What has been communicated to me over and over and over again is that, this lawsuit needs to be dropped. They call the supervisor, they get messages to my law firm, they contact the chief of police and other people in the police department, drop the lawsuit. It's your lawsuit. If you want it dropped, drop it. We can't. We're the defendant. Anybody that has a law enforcement background understands the defendant can't drop a lawsuit. It's got to be the ones that brought the lawsuit. So why don't you have that conversation with your attorney?
And
Thank
before you step away, just my comment to you also is that moving forward, if you do not feel that that your attorney or you have not heard, please reach out to me again, and I will immediately reach out to Joe McKay, our attorney, and I will get back to you with a response, either on the phone or email or so you know that I will call it. All right, okay? Thank you, ma'am. Next. Oh.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to spell that. E-I-O-N-N-E? Oh, I'm sorry. I can't, no.
Is it on?
Just tap.
You have to like literally talk right into it.
No, it's not on. Shut off.
Did it die?
Yeah.
Jeffrey?
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
There you go.
Good. O-L-A-M-I-J-U. Yes, I can hear myself now. A-M-I-J-U.
Sorry, I have a head cold, so my ears
That's
are
okay.
O-L-A-M-I-J-U.
That's correct.
Thank you so
All
much
right,
for your patience.
I am also a resident of Highland Lake Estates, but also I'm a civil servant. I'm an educator.
And it doesn't matter what problems a parent may or may not have with me, because in my line of work, sometimes parents perceive things that may or may not be true. But under no circumstance can I say I am only going to educate these 5 kids and not the other 15. That's why as a resident, I'm really appalled, sir, I'm a little disappointed when I'm hearing that your service is predicated upon the lawsuit. As a civil servant, I am committed to serve my kids in spite of what challenges, what issues they may have. And I really don't agree that unless we drop the lawsuit, you're not in the service of the community.
That is not what I said.
But that's what it sounds like.
Can I respond so we don't
Yes,
go off
please.
on? Two different issues here. I want to be very clear so that they don't get muddied together. We've been asked several times to drop the lawsuit. That is not possible. That's one issue. The other issue is the reason for the lawsuit. Need a little bit of kind of self-reflection, so to speak. The basis of the lawsuit is that the town of Woodbury Police Department has so systematically violated the rights of the residents of Highland Lake Estates that an outside agency needs to be appointed to supervise our police department. That's your claim.
Right, am I correct? It's an allegation.
Yeah, that's what the lawsuit is about, right? So I just put it to you. I just put it to you.
Say something, I'm a news junkie, I watch the news 24/7.
Luckily, I haven't been on the news.
I have seen communities in the United States sue their police departments for one reason or another, okay? And I've seen those brave men and women go back into the community to serve and protect those people. I have friends who are officers, and they've told me repeatedly, we are running in when you guys are running out. Especially as an educator, we work very closely with our local police department. I work with the Bronx. I've seen those police officers of the community, sometimes they not treat them, the best way. And I've seen those brave men and women run into those communities to help the same people that were once talking negatively about them. So, I'm not gonna lie, that, I really don't wanna own that because it doesn't make sense, right? It has to make sense. So my purpose of coming here tonight is to bring it to light. Okay, now, you can't say you don't know, every one of you knows about it, okay? I'm a mother, I am a taxpayer, I'm invested in this community that I love this community. But it's important that we all feel safe and protected. And when I discovered that this was happening, it was about a year ago, when my daughter was trying to reach me because I was ill, I was medicated, I was out. And she called my phone several times, I could not reach me. And then, she graduated from Woodbury, she's now a doctor. And she called the Woodbury Police Department, the department that worked with them at Woodbury. So they have a special place in our heart. And when she called them, they said, you need to call the state police. And she was very, very confused about that. This cannot continue. I urge you to expedite the resolution of this. And we should not get caught up, in our own, I'm right, you wrong type of mindset. It has to be the mindset of public service, period. And that's the mindset that I bring with me to my job, to serve my students and their families. And that has to be it. So now that each of you knows about this, I urge you, please, it has to be resolved. If it cannot be resolved locally, people are stuck in their mindsets, then maybe we need to look for help in a larger scale, maybe from the state or some other agency. Because it must be resolved, it has to be resolved. This is America, the land of opportunity, the land where people are safe. Many of us are immigrants who came here for a better life. And, this part is of a great concern where we are not being effectively protected and served. So I urge you to please expedite the resolution of this matter. Now you're aware of it. You are all aware of it. It has to be resolved because this is America. It doesn't happen this way. It doesn't happen like this in this great country. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just want you to know that I know that a few weeks ago at the village meeting, there was a discussion about what you just spoke to about that phone call. I want you to know that after that meeting, there was a discussion with the police department regarding that specific phone call. It was acknowledged at that when it happened, when it was brought to the police chief's attention, it was acknowledged. There was a discussion, and it was rectified immediately. And as far as I'm concerned, it's an issue that, based on, just from what you just said also, it should never happen again. It was not the proper response that your daughter should have gotten. Absolutely not. Right? I agree with that. And I think, and so does the police department. Believe me, it was a mistake that was said to your daughter, and it was acknowledged and corrected. But thank you very much. You got it. Next row. Yep. So we have some, if anyone to this Highland Lake Estates would like to get up to speak to this topic, please get up and then come over to the microphone. Thank you. Just state your name, please. Could you just tap it? It's on the button. Just. You see this? No.
I knew it was. No, they.
You won't get on the video if you don't use our.
It seems like it's on. It's good.
Wait a minute. You want to take this one here?
I think
It's
it's
gonna
on.
die again because the speed is flashing.
I'm now on the AV squad.
Go back and forth.
This one's got the battery light flashing. There you go.
Nobody gets the list.
I got that one. That one's got a flashing light.
I just wanted to make a comment. I don't want to beat the dead horse tonight. So it didn't very much sound like tonight that you said if the HOA board drops the lawsuit, like it goes away. And we're not all involved in the lawsuit. We're not all privy to the information, maybe that some have and some don't. As a resident, I'm myself a civil servant, retired fireman, married to an active police officer. We can't babish a community, the police chief, lieutenants, captains, I don't know what the hierarchy is here, to allow or to give an order to an officer not to respond to a call. However the lawsuit goes, it doesn't go, who's ever in and out. I've spoken to the officers here and there in the street, in the coffee shop, at Jay's Deli. A very uncomfortable conversation to have. So I don't know what happens with depositions when guys start to talk. I don't know which way things will go. Your officers are not comfortable with not responding to calls. That needs to be addressed. I recently called for a suspicious vehicle. Not a big deal. A trooper came about 80-something minutes later, and because my wife is an active officer and I'm a retired fireman, he gave us the courtesy of telling us they caught up with the guy. He was hiking on trails. Our community doesn't have trails. So hiking in trails, I put out as lurking in people's backyards. There's no trails in our community to walk around. So this is somebody walking on private property behind homes, and nothing happens. I called back after, I don't know, 40 minutes to the local police saying, you know, these guys didn't come. Do you want at least the license plate of the car that's here? This guy could be in somebody's house. I have no idea what's going on. The dispatcher says, well, let me talk to the tour commander or the tour supervisor to see if we can get somebody to come over there. He came back on and said, sorry, I'm not coming. So however you guys figure it out tonight, or it probably won't be figured out tonight, that's an issue. Troopers don't come for 80-something minutes if somebody was in somebody's house, if there's a home invasion. God forbid, there's so many little kids in here now. It's not going to end well, and it's not going to be the community's fault. Be sure they're not going to go to the HOA board or whoever and say, oh, you had this lawsuit. It's going to fall on the heads of this community. Your police chief, whoever has to go. Real bad decision. I really hope you guys make the right one. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you for your comments also. Like I've said, and like I've said a few moments ago, and I also want to add to what I said, by this, every resident of the Highland Lake Estates that's here tonight, thank you very much for coming down. I've seen just about everyone here in our community. We are all here as community members, and we are really a community family, and we need to be treated as such. This is an issue that this town board will not take very lightly at all. We've met tonight about regarding this. It's one of the topics that we discussed prior to this meeting. We feel this as strongly about our community members as we do as our police department. I know that we are the best community. We are the best community, and that includes every department and all of us. This is an issue that we all know now. It's been brought to light to this board, and we're all understanding that this is an ongoing matter that has been going on for a very long time. Our attorney here gave his an explanation. We asked him to give an explanation tonight so that you guys can hear, everyone here can hear an explanation, not just back and forth banter. That's not, you guys don't deserve that. So we didn't. And we're going to move forward with this tonight. And like you said, we're going to hope that we can somehow or another come to a resolution. Anybody else want to add to this at this time? Okay. I know we're going to move on. Do I have a gentleman like to get up for a different issue?
Good evening. Joe Zlotta, Central Valley. In reading of the last meeting's minutes, I noted that Mr. McKay had indicated a desire to meet with the congregation regarding the issue up at Hadley Farm Road. So I have a couple of questions regarding that. The first being, has that meeting either taken place or been scheduled? And if it has, does that mean that the investigation that was launched into what occurred over the Memorial Day weekend been concluded? If the investigation has been concluded, will you be sharing the results of that? And if it has been concluded, have you determined who authorized the work? My understanding is that the congregation has indicated that they were authorized to do what they proceeded to do. I've heard nothing about who authorized that. I understand that was going to be part of the investigation. And if, again, the investigation has been concluded, have the responsible parties been held accountable? That was town property that was disturbed, and anyone who disturbed that town property should be held accountable for it. If the investigation has not been completed, do you have any sense of when it will wrap up and when those results may be made known to the public?
Should I respond?
Yes, you can respond, please.
Good evening, Mrs. Zlotta. Yes, a few members of the town board met with, well.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Okay. Yes, there was a meeting with the congregation. 2, the criminal investigation is ongoing. 3, no member of this board authorized that work. In fact, of course, they couldn't, because it's the village board that would have to authorize any of that work or issue any permits to the building inspector.
And that I understand.
Yeah, so in the investigation, I spoke with the chief this evening. The investigation's ongoing.
Okay. One other question. I mean, that is town property. That's green space that pretty much surrounds the development, Woodbury Junction. And that provides, I mean, that road, that opening provides another ingress, egress back and forth. Now, some of you who've been on the board for a while may know that we've been fighting for a long time with our HOA to provide the security that was promised as part of the offering plan. That has not yet been done. There is discussions about it. There is discussions in terms of changing the security plan to go from live security to video security. But the HOA and the board is only looking potentially at the 2 entries that they're responsible for, the one at Ninja Road and the one at Thunderbird Road. Hadley Farm Road would pose a 3rd ingress and egress. Since that egress is over town property, what is the town going to do to sort of secure that area? I'm sure Chief Watson will attest to the fact that security is only as good as its weakest point. And right now, that will be its weakest point.
Mrs. Lauder, are you talking about the access point where there used to be the gate? Is that
There used to be a rock there, used to be a gate there, used to be a chain there.
It's still there, but they created a whole new road.
Well, yeah, and I noted that, there were posts erected, the posts were cut down, there were trees planted, the trees were cut down. I mean, there are laws in this town. You know, everybody's supposed to follow the laws.
Well, from your own comments, it's obvious that you know that someone trespassed on town property, filled in the retention pond, moved the fence, put in a road, cut our trees down. And yes, the town put up posts to try to prevent further trespass. And we're investigating, it's still an ongoing investigation to try to find out. Maybe you should go up there and see if you can find out who did it, Mrs. Latta, because the police can't find out.
You know, I mean, I'm not as visible in the community as I once was.
Yeah.
But it is frustrating.
Sure.
You know, many of our community members probably don't even know that this occurred over the Memorial Day weekend. And I was made aware of it. I was made aware of the fact that there were town board members up there, that there were village board members up there. I'm talking about Memorial Day weekend when this initially occurred. And I know that there was some actions taken to erect those posts. And I know since that time, 3 of those posts have been cut down just enough to get a car through. You know, that's not the most easily transversable road in the village, Hadley Farm Road. I mean, I wouldn't drive down that road with a 4x4. But I know there are concerns from some of the residents on that road in regards to the rates of speed that people are going down that road. And again, as I stated, it's another ingress-egress between Woodbury Junction and the rest of the town.
My understanding though is that's a private
It's a
road.
privately owned road.
And it's privately owned, and to the extent that it's an access road or an emergency access point, that would be under the jurisdiction of the village.
Okay. And, you know, and I do understand, the village took some actions very early in development, prior to the Ninninger Road entrance being completed. And there was a strong stressing of the fact that that needed to be accessible for emergency access. But once Ninninger Road was open, the view was that that was no longer needed as an emergency entrance. There were 2 ways in, 2 ways out, more than adequate ingress and egress. And at that time, I believe it was the boulder that was moved back into place.
Right.
So we've seen boulders, we've seen chains, we've seen gates, and now we see just
New
3
roads.
poles cut to the ground.
Right.
And again, it becomes the weakest point in the security for the development as well. And I mean, there's no sense in us continuing to fight for the HOA board to provide security at Dunderberg and Ninninger if people are going to easily be able to transverse that road in and out. So those were my questions for the evening.
Thank you.
I was just looking to try to get some kind of an update because I haven't heard anything about it. So ongoing investigation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in that row? The back row? Anyone in the back?
Brandon Calori, Highland Mills. So the Parks and Recreations Committee is having a little event up at the Community Center on October 29th from 2 to 6. We're going to be doing candy goodie bags. We'll have coffee, cider, and donuts. We're working on getting a magician and a balloon artist. We're going to have pumpkin picking. There'll be pumpkins up there that the kids can come up and pick out. And then we'll do some painting of the pumpkins, okay? There's going to be decorations and a few more tricks and a few more treats. So save the date, October 29th, 2 to 6 up at the community center. Currently, you know, we're trying to keep up with our themes. October is going to be the pumpkin carving contest. So if you fancy yourself a little pumpkin artist, go ahead and submit your pictures to the town of Woodbury Parks. We'll pick a winner. Winner gets a gift certificate. Okay? That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon.
Anyone else? Maria?
Maria Hunter. First, I'm going to talk about beautification as chairperson. Just want to let the board know, and we had a meeting tonight, and the Beautification Commission committee members will be helping and assisting on the 29th. I just found out our 2 deliveries finally came in, that it's a scarecrow and a witch, where you can put your face in there and have your pictures taken. So that's a big to-do for us that we finally got that in. So that'll be up there on the day of the 29th, and our decorations. I do have some more in the truck for you to take up there for decorating. So we're looking forward to helping out with the Parks Department and making that a successful. I was there, I think last year or the year before, and it was really well attended by the residents, so I'm looking forward to that again. You did forget about the library storytelling, right? I got you. I know it's been a long night, and I want to thank, and it's in the minutes, I want to follow up with Joe McKay again, acknowledging that Central Valley Branch Library is no longer owned by the town. I'm sorry to hear this. I mean, we've been supporting that building for a long time. My taxpayer dollars, and as everyone else in here, we've been paying taxes to make sure that that building stayed correct. Heating, everything, books, employees. I'm going to implore again from this board, please take our employees, our residents, and out of that building. We don't know if there's any insurance coverage on that building. I was at a meeting last week, the library board. They want to start using the building and have a form filled out. They don't even know who to put in as the insured person on that form. They have to investigate. If they don't know and we don't own that building, I'm imploring this board, and the attorney can tell me yes or no, take our employees out of there. God forbid one of them falls, gets hurt, or a resident goes in there. They're having a yoga and baby thing coming up there. What if someone slips in that building? We don't own it. That's a huge liability, and I'm going to be at this board constantly to see that that is corrected. And with that being said, and I find out, Anita, who resigned in December, her position was library assistant. She did the adult programs. Instead of the board and the library director, and I fault the library director for this, she never asked this board, and that's all four of you, please find a replacement and get a list for us so we can keep the library open with her hours. Instead, they went for a librarian one, which this board denied because it was not in the budget. Hopefully they put it in for next year's budget. I get it. If it's not in the budget, we can't support it. Someone just recently retired who does the web design, and I'm going to ask the supervisor, did you get a request from an email which the director of the library said she would send it to you and the board members requesting that those two positions get filled for the rest of the year so we can keep our library open more hours? I don't know if that request is put in. And shame on the director for not doing her job and asking this board to fill those two positions. We could have had an adult programmer from January if they only would have asked for the right title, and they didn't. And I'm sorry, but I'm a taxpayer in this town. I've lived here for 43 plus years. My family goes back even further. We need to look at this with the library board of directors. I know it's a big issue. Trust me, I know. I have a file at home, and I'm trying to keep abreast of all this. And like I said before, those budget modifications, the rest of your departments, and even my committee, we put in our budget requests if we have to go from one line to another. Your library director is not doing her job. I pay her salary as everyone else in this room does. Something needs to be corrected, and I'm serious. I will not go to the next library board meeting because it's being held in the Central Valley building. I know there's no insurance on there. Maybe you're covering it to the end of the year, but we don't own that building. Why is the library board having a meeting in a building that you don't own? Thank you.
Before you sit down, Maria, I just want to correct one thing. At that meeting that you're speaking to, the library, I was also there. In regards to the librarian assistant position, there was a library board member who asked for that library assistant position to be filled by a library assistant based on the conversation that was had at the library board meeting with me in attendance. And I had said to the library board member that the department head if you would like to have that done, it's not something that we would discuss and then just follow up with. It would have to be submitted, a request by the library director. So just so you know, it wasn't the, you had said, I don't know if you just.
Maybe I misused the
Right, that's why
term.
we'll get it correct.
Yeah.
So we can be correct with that, because we were both at the meeting.
Yes.
It would need to come from the library director, just like all department heads submitted.
Yes.
Like you said, the library director has not submitted a request for library assistant.
So in essence, you're telling me since last Tuesday, you haven't heard anything from the library director? I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Go ahead, you say something.
And as regards to insurance, Maria, we don't own the town hall either, but it's insured. Buildings we use are insured, whether it's the library building or the town hall. Everything is insured.
But I'm sure you have an insurance policy that says insured in the bottom, and you must have had to submit proof of your insurance coverage to your lease. Because I know if you have, anytime we have to go somewhere and we have to go somewhere that's off premise, I'll use the chamber for example. We have to use the school. We have to get insurance for them, and we have to put insured, and have to put the school's name on there.
Yes,
I'm
no.
sure this board, if I foil it, sorry Desiree, if I foil it, I'm sure the insurance coverage is probably there under your name because you have to protect your.
Yeah, it is, because
Yeah,
the town
but you
uses,
pay
the
for it.
town residents use the library building.
Highland
So
Mills,
it's-
Highland Mills.
They
You
also
own it.
use,
And
town
that's
residents
right.
also use the Central Valley Library.
That library building is insured. If God forbid a resident got hurt, we are covered.
Why are we insuring a building that's not ours?
We provide
Where is that?
services
to
Is it
Because-
insured, if I foil it tomorrow, is it gonna be who are you
Foil it.
insuring
Go
it
ahead.
to? Who are you insuring it to? The library board of directors, the trustees, or the Central Valley Library? Who are you gonna get your insurance company put?
To not misspeak, I would have to clarify.
That's what I'm saying, I'll have to foil it, because you have to have someone's entity, their tax ID number, their mailing address. Where am I going to insure you so that we can go into that building?
Well, just to clarify to residents, God forbid a resident was to slip and fall, or a director, or whoever, they are covered because the town insures said building. To Tyler's point, it's even town hall.
Well, you don't have to foil it. There's a list, and the board just approved it in September. Or August.
Yeah.
Every year, the board has to provide a list of town facilities that they want covered under their insurance policy. The Central Valley Library is listed under that. Whether it should be or not should be, that's for this board and
Well,
the
that's-
attorney and the library board to decide, because according to the deed, the building is owned by the Woodbury Public Library, not the town of Woodbury Public Library.
That's what I'm getting at, is
So
that
we are
proper-
currently insuring the building, me being the town. Whether that's correct or not, the attorney or the library board attorney or whenever they have this work session would have to be determined.
It would
As
be
far
like
as employees, the employees are covered under the workers' compensation.
Understood that, but the thing of it is, if we don't own the building, empty the building and bring everything up to Highland Mills branch, keep that open 7 days a week and put it to full hours, and you put all your employees in one building that you own. That's what I'm trying to get at. And the other thing is, I'm sorry, Kate. The other thing is, there was a picture posted on Colin Schmidt's Facebook page. It shows a check of $25,000 payable to the Woodbury Public Library. I guess I should foil that to see if it was actually deposited in the town's deposit, because the Woodbury Public Library would be a town
Then the
line
check should
item.
be paid out to the town of Woodbury, not the Woodbury Public Library.
It
That's
says
an
Woodbury.
individual entity.
It says Woodbury Public Library. Where did that $25,000 go to?
You'd have to foil